Good evening, everyone. We had a very in-depth, insightful information that we could receive from none other than the Attorney General sitting in Delhi. It is really a great opportunity for us to interact with him sitting here in Chennai and he being in Delhi. We should thank the organizers for getting us an opportunity to actually hear him off and share his knowledge with us. Now, coming to my topic, the topic that was given to me is relating to New Age laws and Constitution. So the first thing that you'll be wondering is, what is the New Age law going to do with the Constitution? Constitution is something very old, and we are talking about something called New Age. New Age laws. What do we call, what actually is a New Age law? I'd like to make this little bit interactive because it's been a monotone and it's been one-way dialogue. So anyone from the audience, what would you call a New Age law? Anyone? Right. Something related to technology. How are you connected with the technology? Anyone?
Simple thing. My data is my phone. Whether it is protected, will you be able to protect those data?
Absolutely. Bang on point. We have progressed in technology, and if you actually see your phones, your phone is no longer a normal phone. You had a normal small phone of Nokia, which you had a button phone. Everything has become smart. Your phone has become smart. In this process, is the technology become smart and it's made us dud? That is one question that we need to address. If you see your technological advances, your phone are no longer on the cellular network, it is on internet. You are paying a tariff on internet. You are paying for the GB of data, 2 GB data per day, etc. So it's totally changed the scenario. I'll come down to the main aspect of the Constitution and the New Age. How does it merge? Two aspects. Number one is fundamental rights. From that aspect, I'll take this particular point, freedom of speech and expression, which is guaranteed in Constitution, and the right to privacy. These are the two main aspects in which Supreme Court has delivered judgments. All of you know. Freedom of speech and expression, your technology, now look at all these things in the layer of technology. Forget the old days. You are now in an era where there is social media. Sitting here, you are tweeting about this particular event. And one wrong comment and you'll have blast of responses over the internet, social network. You'll have somebody called Rihanna reacting to farmers' protest in India. What has that got to do? Right? The world has become small. And where are we in terms of technological law? That is what we are going to examine right now. Shreyas Singh's case, a Supreme Court, which struck down 66A. Point number one. Point number two, the decision on Aadhaar card. This is where Supreme Court said that you have a right to privacy. There is a contradiction. There's one more facet of this entire thing that I'll drop down, and that will be related to data. But let me first address these two aspects. Shreya Singh's case is where 66A was struck down because the law enforcement was arresting people for any wrong comment. Is it right or wrong? Any one of you? 66A struck down. If you say anything wrong about the government or place, you will be arrested. My opinion is a little bit different. We need to have laws in place. We need to have a proper evaluation of those particular sections. As of now, we see that there is no proper section that can be imposed if somebody has spoken derogatory about the country or some statement which is going to incite violence within the country. One small statement and the entire nation is burning. The entire boycott scenario has started. You want to boycott a movie? Just start a thread in Twitter and it starts trailing. Where do you put an end to it? That is one aspect. Now coming to the second aspect on the Aadhaar card or the right of privacy. On one hand, Supreme Court says that there should be a right of privacy and your data and your information should be protected. But on the other hand, we are linking Aadhaar with everything. Aadhaar is connected now with your PAN, and here we are connecting our Aadhaar with a TNEB connection. My personal experience, I tried to go and connect my Aadhaar, link my Aadhaar with my TNEB connection service number. It says it's already connected. I don't know who connected it. I should be getting the OTP. I have not got it. That takes us to the Aadhaar Act. How many of you know there is an Aadhaar Act? The Aadhaar Act specifies how the data has to be utilized. But are we actually following it? You get so many phone calls every day. Sir, loan venuma, sir. Sir, car venuma, sir. Who is calling you? Have you ever thought about it? How does a third party get your number? You leave aside India, you are getting calls from now Turkey and other places. How is this data going out? Has anyone even thought about it? Banks are selling it as an... No, but it's a statement even. You have to be substantiating it with evidence. You can make a statement. You need to have an evidence. Banks are not the areas that you have to see. You go to a photocopier shop. You take a photocopy of your Aadhaar card. Do you know he has taken another copy of it? If there is a misprint of your Xerox card, of the card, do you ever even think about tearing it off? No. Today morning I went with this presentation probably to take a printout. And I saw that guy was struggling to take a printout. I went into his shop. I destroyed those extra papers. I destroyed the mail that I had sent to him. I don't want this data sitting in his system. Do we even take care of it? So this is where we are looking at. We are looking at a cyberspace which is nothing but your internet which is connected, which is seeped into your phone. You are connected to the internet all the time. Do you even know whether your phone is monitoring or not? This is part one. Connected to this is how do you regulate all this? You have Information Technology Act, which is there to so-called regulate and protect you. Is it actually doing? I don't think so. There are three aspects of your act. Any act that is there, you have three main aspects. Is to regulate, troubleshoot, and give a redressal. These are three main aspects. Regulate in the sense do's and don'ts are being prescribed in terms of rules and the act. The second aspect is troubleshoot. If there is a problem, there should be a binding force in the act to prevent that person to do it. Now an offense has occurred, you need redressal. Information Technology Act, while the act talks about the definition of an offense, the regulation and the redressal part is, I'm sorry to say, it is in a very minimalistic way. It is very low. I deal in and out with cybercrime. I specialize in that area. My work starts from the grassroots level. I first file a complaint, then move it to make it an FIR, then get a charge sheet done, and then run the trial. Believe me, it is a very painful process. Like our learned advocate said, data is running. Do you know the value of your data? What do you consider your data to be? Just an information? Your phone number? No. Along with your phone number, it connects with your Aadhaar. Your Aadhaar is connected with the PAN. The PAN is connected with your bank. Your PAN is connected with entire loop of transactions that you are doing. Your Aadhaar is connected with somebody hacking into this particular information gets a wealth of information from you. How do you think that your money is getting stolen from your account over the phone? Unified payment gateways that is being provided, GPay, Google Pay or Paytm. How robust are the system? There are two aspects. One is the technological aspect of security and the legal aspect of securing that transaction that has gone out of your hand. During COVID, there have been many cases of people losing their money sitting at home. How do you think this information was ever available to them? That is where the data protection aspect comes in. Do we have a Data Protection Act? No, we don't have. Why is it taking so long? We are still, again, like we just had a session, our constitution, like our learned counsel, Mr. M.R. Venkatesh sir said, we went around the world to find the best salient features and put it into a constitution. We never looked inside our home. We already have it. What is preventing us from creating our own Data Protection Act? Bills have been tabled, but it is taking too long for us to even pass it, and every moment that we are losing, we are actually exposing ourselves to the risk. I'll give you a very simple example. Have you ever noticed it? If you are speaking to your friend or your relative about a camera or about a jewelry, the very next moment when you're sitting on the Google, you will see that very same ad coming. Oh, intuitive, God is already listening to me. That's not God, that's Google. Your Alexa or the so-called Google Assist, the speaker that you keep at home which is connected to internet. Oh, so you don't want to switch on your TV, you'll say, Alexa, switch on the TV. Alexa, switch on the light. But do you know something? Alexa is already listening to every conversation that is happening in your home. Do you even realize that? We don't know. Why? We have already given it to artificial intelligence. That is the third aspect. First aspect is your information, the IT Act. The second aspect is the data. The third aspect is the artificial intelligence. There is a common thread to all this, which I'll bring pointed out to the last. Your artificial intelligence is already sneaking through all your systems. Siri, what's the weather like? Please carry an umbrella. It's not telling you the temperature, it's telling you take the umbrella. I have personally experienced when I had the Google map on and tracking my routes, I'll have a pop-up of evening 7 o'clock saying the traffic is high. It is monitoring every moment, every activity that I am doing. Why? Why are we subject? So, where we talk about privacy on one hand, on the other hand, we are already left it open. We have the smartest gadget in it, but we are not smart enough to even handle it. Facebook, Twitter account. Facebook, how many of you are even aware of the privacy settings in it? You have practically exposed not only your data, but also all your colleagues and friends' data that is sitting in it. I have personally encountered situations where my colleagues and friends have been blackmailed by some third party because he's got an access into the Facebook account. Leave that aside. There was a recent case in Chennai where one lady from Thailand had come down to India, filed a case of rape against one gentleman here, and he was arrested. Along with him, his friend was also arrested. It was in the prints. I don't want to take the names. How did the complaint get registered is a different thing. But how did his friend get caught into it? Because his friend has this habit of putting his photograph to whichever country he went. So his Facebook update. So this person has probably seen him to be a close friend of him, bring him in. Because they had met somewhere. See how vulnerable you are in this age of technology. You think your phone is switched off? No, probably it is listening. The biggest case, Snowden's case, which everyone knows. The government spying into the system, right? The PRISM project. You hack into everything, you get all the inputs. So how are we safe? Are we protected? That is where I am here to talk to you about it. No, we are not. We are in a shit state. I'm sorry I'm using this language, but we are exposed ourselves to a lot of issues here. The data lying in your phone, you have your entire contacts which is synced with Google, your phone or your iCloud. Who has an access to it? Somebody else sitting behind has an access to it. There has been some amendments that came into the Information Technology Act. Recently, the intermediaries, namely Facebook, the WhatsApp, or Signal, or whosoever it is, they were never accounted for. Now let me explain who is an intermediary. This hall is an intermediary. Why? We have gathered here. This is a Facebook page. I'm talking to you. Just turn this into a virtual space and you'll find that this becomes an intermediary. Facebook is a platform where people are coming and talking and meeting each other. This hall is an intermediary. Any statement made here which is against the constitution or the safety of this country, not only will we get booked, but also the hall owner will get booked. That is where the accountability of an intermediary comes in. That is why when the government had a tiff with the Twitters being brazen about the operations, they had a lot of problem. Now with the regulation that has been brought in, they are bringing the onus on these intermediaries to be accountable for what is being posted on their site. Earlier, if there was a negative post made about anybody or any person or the country, it used to take time for us to pull that out by the time the damage is done. Now we are making them accountable. We have a nodal officer who has to respond to the query sent by the law enforcement. Does it work? No, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. I'm handling cases where college students or their friends, they are being blackmailed on Instagram by some unknown account exposing their photos. We are trying to nail that unknown person. We are not able to do. Who is accountable? Where is the nodal officer? Why is there not limited time to response? This is one aspect. Now I'll move to the other dimension, your banking transaction. Yes, we are now moved into a new era where we are talking about digital payment. None of us carry cash, if you note. All of us are carrying GPay in our phone, right? Your money goes off, 20,000 swiped off. What do? You rush to the bank. The bank says, hey, yes, your money has gone out. Where did it go? It went through Paytm. I'm just giving an illustration, not to bring Paytm into any negative light. I don't want Paytm to sue me. So let's say it's gone through an online wallet. You go and check. Where has it gone? It's gone to some account. Where is that account? The account is lying in Bihar. Or the account is in some remote place. Right? Or the account is in Jamtara. How many of you don't know about Jamtara? All of you know. There is another version of Jamtara which has started. I'll tell you about it. It's a very interesting information. We can locate where the money has gone. We know what person who has picked up. But we are unable to catch hold of him. Why? Because apparently the person is a dummy person. What happened to the KYC? No. How was the account created? Because some X had an access to the Aadhaar card and the PAN card and he created it. Which again brings back to the fundamental point of data. Everything that I talk here will come, circulate and come down to the aspect of data, and that is where I'll come to the end, where I will, my personal suggestion is how we should treat it. So far so good. Artificial intelligence. Everything is now, you have this quote, machine learning, artificial intelligence. These two common words. So you have heard about case mine online? It talks about artificial intelligence. What does it do? It gives you an analysis of all the cases that has been run, which judge has used which judgment to pass an order, what is your chances of succeeding in a case. This is the level of inputs that you are getting. Your phone, everything is now converted. Everything you say, even your medical report, it's now with artificial intelligence. So where is our intelligence gone? And what is the machine going to do? How are we regulating artificial intelligence? Any guess? None. We have Niti Aayog, which has come out with the policy. Apart from America, I don't think any other countries even ventured into trying to regulate it. They have brought in some act in 2020, Artificial Intelligence Initiative Act. But it is in a nation stage. We have started giving the control to the machines, autonomous machines. What are these? Self-driving cars, Tesla. The other aspect, drones. If self-operating drones, if you are left it loose, you don't know what is going to happen. Now I'll come down to the main aspect of data protection. The data protection is the most essential thing that we need. We are in a nascent stage where the bills are being tabled, but we need an act to be enforced immediately. European Union has GDPR, UK has Data Protection Act, US has its privacy laws in place, but in India we are still struggling to find a way out. Now I'll come to the main underlining aspect of why we are not giving importance to all these. Because we are not considering the data as a property. The latest judgment 2019 of United Kingdom has held that digital assets should be treated as property. And when I say digital asset, I also bring in data. My interpretation is treat data as digital asset, consider it as a property, and then start framing laws. When you say that there is a land, that's a property. It's a tangible thing. You're able to see it. But when you say data, it's intangible. Arey, kya farak padta hai? Ina achi pona poto. But then you have all the problems coming in. So once you start interpreting data as a digital asset and treat it as a property, all laws will fall in place. It is very perennial that we start addressing this. In United Kingdom, they have passed 2 judgments wherein the bitcoins were stolen or hacked by a third party, cases were filed, and there has been a forum which is called Digital Dispute Resolution Forum. They have Digital Dispute Resolution Rules, DDRR. We need to start moving towards that. We talk about arbitration. We need the enforcement in one place, the redressal process to be put in. We need tribunals that can address these issues fast. And the best part of those judgments are the name of the parties are anonymous. They have kept it anonymous. They don't want it to come out. But the judgments have been passed and injunctions have been given both by those courts. We need to start moving towards that part we are at an initial stage, but considering 1.3 billion population, I think the need to move in should be very fast. Data Protection Act should be put in place, and more other regulations should be there. Better redressal forums, training judges, and also the law enforcement becomes quite essential. I would like to bring in more aspects. We have other speakers in line, so I'll rest my part of the input here. Thank you very much for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Can I please request Mr. Shyam Sundar to hand over a moment?